Hey guys, this is part two of my movie review, or my uh, review of Ozark, and the other review of something called The End, a Turkish 50 episode story. I have to update what I said about Ozark. I had a pretty disappointed air about me when I interviewed that earlier today. I watched it through a second time, meaning I've given this one show, which is 10 episodes, 20 hours of viewing over the weekend. I will say that watching it the second time with lowered expectations. You have to understand, I had super high expectations after watching Ozark the first year. Uh, and it is a lot more complicated the second year. But I guess I got more accustomed to what was going on and accepted it as a fact rather than challenged why things are happening this way. Because I had a whole different feeling about it. I do feel the show is going to be around for a third season because there's some very interesting psychological shifts in that family. Marty Bird was basically the guy who got them interacting with a Mexican drug cartel in the first year. And his wife was basically a basket case who was trying to get out of that and was very paranoid and thought about was it easy to coax into running from the scene while Marty stayed to handle it several times. They had a total psychological change where Marty became the runaway from the problems, and I'm trying to think of her first name. Um, Marty Bird, and can't think of her first name, but she's the mom, and she basically was the pillar of the family, even though did a lot of evil things. It looks like season 3, you're going to have a full-fledged crime family, rather than a person who was just laundering money, which was what Marty Bird's job, and because of various reasons, he had to juggle a lot of other things along the way. So, right now, because she's like a natural player, she worked behind the scenes with the cartel to take out certain people. She didn't own up to this. This is a character Laura Linney plays really well. I watched her in something called The Dinner, which I highly recommend, but you have to be willing to watch it 2 or 3 times. It's very interesting. She played a very similar character. Very smiley and friendly, but this girl is cold as ice if she needs to be, and she can be as cold as ice behind that very friendly smile, and it can come right out if the situation calls for it. So I appreciated that a lot more. The kids were highly involved in it, along with some of the so it's kind of good because it has the 40-year-old parents and people they were working with from the older ages, but also the younger kids are involved in various ways. The rednecks who live on the bayou, basically, almost, um, are working with Marty Bird, and there were some relatives that caused Marty Bird some problems, and also played havoc with the female who was actually hired by Marty Bird to work for him, even though they got off to a really bad start in season 1. I'm sorry to have to undo everything I said. It makes me look really bad on my first interview, but that's why I really need to watch things 2 or 3 times if they're very good to make a really solid opinion on them. I gave you a fleeting opinion on it. Going through my own hang-ups about where I had expected it to go, dropping that need to be disappointed about that, and just enjoying what they presented in front of us. And I've decided that it's very good. I'm not sure if I want to say it's as good as season one, because I definitely didn't have to go through this sort of turmoil to come to the idea that this was a good second season. Season one, I was convinced it was great as soon as it was over, or even before it was over. So that's, in some ways, it's different, but take that for what it's worth. Now, I'll give you a short synopsis of what this other thing called the end was. Basically, it involves 3 or 4 main characters, a couple, and a couple's best friend who also becomes the business partner of the female. And you don't learn a lot of why things occur the way they do, but I guess I can't really say a whole lot without giving the plot away and ruining it for you. But it's sort of an interesting plot where jealousy is involved, but you're not aware of the jealousy really until the last third of the show. And that's 50 episodes, remember. 50 half-hour episodes is 25 hours. So you start to become aware that this guy who's just pretending to be aloof has been sort of a jealous third party to the couple, the main couple that it revolves around. The couple got separated from almost the whole show, and everybody's thinking that the male ran off with another female who he had had an affair with, and so that's the basic storyline that guides this plot for until new things become available in the last 8 or 10 hours. As I say, it's a foreign show. The dialogue is not deep. In fact, you might laugh at it when you realize how simple the dialogue is. It may be a problem of the translation. The translation of the dialogue made it look simplistic. I don't know. But again, that's called The End. It's on Netflix if you want to check that out. And so, other than that, I guess that's all I've got to say tonight. And again, you guys have a good evening and a pleasant tomorrow.